So one of the biggest things that holds a lot of people back from success in business is this thing called shiny object syndrome. I've seen this all the time, and this really applies to many different facets of life, from fitness, weight loss, but especially in business as well. And this is that people, they get excited by the prospect of starting something new, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to start this new business, and this is exciting, and they're envisioning themselves making 6 figures, getting rich, and all this, and so they jump into it, and before you know it, the excitement is worn off, and they're just stuck having to do the daily mundane tasks that are required to grow a business, and because the warm and fuzzy feelings have worn off, then they quit, they throw in the towel, and they jump to the next shiny object. That's why it's called shiny object syndrome, because they just jump from one opportunity to the next without really giving the opportunity that they were working on a chance to develop and to blossom. You got to know that the seeds that you're planting today, that they will harvest in the future. And this is a really dangerous type of, sorry guys, it's raining if it just got really loud. This is a really dangerous kind of mindset to get into, of getting sucked into the shiny object syndrome, because this will carry over into all other areas of your life. And I see this in weight loss, fitness. People will be starting one diet, and then they don't get the results that they want quick enough, so they jump to the next diet, the next workout plan, the next, and the next, because it's always going to be exciting starting something new. But success, that is given to those that are just simply willing to do the work and put in the consistent effort, even when it is no longer excitement. I remember I heard a quote one time from one of my mentors. He said, character is following through on what you said you were going to do, even long after the excited emotions have faded away from what you said you were going to do. Because it's exciting to set down goals, and it's exciting to say you're going to be a millionaire and all this. But what's not always exciting is doing the boring, mundane tasks day in and day out for years to accomplish it. But and so guys, you want to recognize this, that it's okay to be bored, and to your life doesn't have to be constantly excited 24/7. I think that's a problem nowadays in today's day and age. People are so addicted to constantly feeling dopamine that if something isn't giving them stimulation, then they just like squirrel, they're on to the next thing that can give them this dopamine rush. But what you're going to find is if you set your mind on something and you work on it and you follow through, you're going to experience an even more powerful set of neurochemicals called serotonin, which that comes from respect, from knowing self-respect, not from stimulation from something. So recognize this, guys. And my rule of thumb is whenever I'm starting a new business, I always say 2 years minimum. I jump in and I say I'm not even going to think about throwing in the towel and quitting for at least 2 years. Then after 2 years, then I'll evaluate to see if this is something that I still want to do or whatever. But you got to give it always. If you're deciding to get into flipping test strips or the notary business or whatever, give yourself, say 2 years. You're going to dedicate 2 years to building this business, even if it's just part-time on the side. But 2 years, no matter what. And then at the end of the 2 years, you can evaluate to see if this is something that you still want to continue doing or not. But if you throw in the towel after 3 months, 6 months, then you might get caught into that addiction of the shiny object syndrome, of always just jumping from one exciting thing to the next exciting business prospect, the next exciting thing, and that becomes an addiction. And then before you know it, you spend years, decades, never really achieving anything great because you're not willing to commit to mastery. And mastery, that comes from letting go of the dabbler's mentality of just dabbling in something, and instead looking at it as as a long-term vision and putting in the work. And like I was saying, this relates to all areas of life. When you see the person on the podium, the champion who's holding up getting their hand held up because they came in first place, they're getting the trophy, the gold medal or whatever. It's it's exciting, to see that, like, wow. And it's easy to say, you know what, I want to be like that person, I'm going to do it, that's, but what people don't realize is the tens of thousands of hours, the boring work that person had to do to get there, the tens of thousands of hours that person had to do, put in alone in the dungeon by themselves, grinding it out without all the balloons and the cameras and the glitter and the sparkles going off. That is when the victory was made. When in the tens of thousands of boring hours, the dull hours, in the dungeon, putting in the work. That's how victory is made, not from just jumping from one thing to another to another. So guys, like I said, if you're embarking on something new, just give yourself a time period that no matter what, you won't quit. It doesn't have to be 2 years, it could be 6 months, but I would say at least 1 year, because you got to give it time to develop. So guys, don't get caught in this shiny object syndrome, because that's something that that holds a lot of people back from achieving success in their lives, especially in this day and age. And instead, give yourself a timeline for how long you're gonna, that no matter what, you're gonna be consistent in building this business, regardless of the business that you choose, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and say that you won't even think about throwing in the towel, quitting, looking at something else until that time period has gone by, and then you can evaluate to see if this is still something you want to pursue, let go of, or start pursuing another opportunity as well. So hope this helps, guys. Commit to mastery, and hope you all having a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.